Los Chapitos are at war with El Mayo, and Los Chapitos are winning. All empires crumble eventually, and the CDS is no different. Gone are the days of partying and hanging out like family, while trafficking billions into the US without too much interference. Los Chapitos are waging war in Sonora against El Mayo. The two capos doing the fighting are El Gigio and El Cazador. El Gigio works for El Mayo, and El Cazador works for Ivan. Right now, El Gigio is trying to defend his turf against convoys of sicarios that have already taken control of the plazas of Magdalena and Santa Ana. Magdalena especially was the site of conflict over the last 72 hours. Word is that Los Salazar, a trafficking family that has a lot of influence in Sonora and works as a proxy of the Sinaloa Cartel, allied themselves with Ivan in order to kick out El Mayo from the most important jewel in his Sonora crown, Nogales. So on Gigio's side is El Mayo, and surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, Rafael Caro Quintero. They're both backing him. On the opposite side, El Cazador is backed by Los Chapitos and Los Salazar. The Sinaloa Cartel is through. It's over. Los Menores are making a play on El Mayo, an old school trafficker that has recently taken losses. Ivan said, "No more, Mayo. The old arrangements are over. We have our own back, compita." The ultimate goal for Los Chapitos is to take Nogales. If they can make it into Nogales, it's gonna be a bloodbath. It would be open warfare in the streets. The government won't be able to hide and pretend a war doesn't exist. They're gonna roll into Nogales and start cracking cartel skulls. Not because they are killing in broad daylight and breaking the law by pumping billions of dollars worth of drugs into the US, but for bringing international attention to the area. El Cazador's army is bigger and apparently more capable than Gigio's troops. His gunmen are slowly encircling Nogales. Little by little they are creeping up, and at the right moment will heat up the plaza with everything they have. The National Guard is on Mayo's side, while the municipales and state police are working for Los Chapitos. El Mayo is in this fight, clearly, but Rafael Caro Quintero is also involved. He never liked the Guzman family and definitely wants Sonora back, or at least a nice chunk of it. Back in March, when AMLO greeted El Chapo's mom, shook her hand in front of cameras, that was a political gesture to Los Chapitos. It was a wink and a nod to them. The federal government has chosen to side with Los Chapitos against their enemies. And if this includes El Mayo, pues ya que. El Chino's death was also a power move by Los Chapitos. El Chino was close to El Mayo's family, and his death at the hands of Ivan, the same guy who was going after El Ruso recently, another Mayo commander, without any real retaliation from El Mayo. It's not looking good for Zambada. After El Chapo's extradition, the problems El Mayo and Los Chapitos had rose to the surface. Apparently, when the whole battle of Culiacan happened back in October 2019, which, by the way, check out my episode about what happened that day and why, link in the description. So the story goes that Ivan reached out to El Mayo for reinforcements during the operation to rescue Ovidio. El Mayo held back his men and never sent any real help that day. That never sat well with Ivan, obviously. And now, the cartel is disintegrating fast, before our very own eyes. In the end, it's new school taking over, and the old guard being forced to make way. Los Chapitos and AMLO are the new administration, intent on carving their own way against the old administration of El Mayo and Rafael Caro Quintero.